or how much percentage do you risk on every trade? 1%. When I'm safe. When I'm more risky, I'll do 3 to 5%. But if I lose, well, then I punish myself by not trading for about 3 to 5 days, no matter how great the setups are, because I risked more than I was willing to lose. Because if you risk 5% every single day, it doesn't take you much, doesn't take you that long to get your count to zero. It really doesn't. So if I lose a trade that's 5%, I won't trade 3 to 5 days, no matter how good the setups are. But I tend to only do 1%. It's not sexy. It's not fun. When you win, you don't win a lot, but it's steady. When you lose, you don't lose a lot. So you're left in the game to play another time. Know that your risk management max is 1% per trade, but if you don't trade with your whole bag, how do you do it? Great question. So let's just say we have $100 in our account. 1% of this is $1. We are willing to risk $1 per trade. Now, let's say your leverage is 20x for your leverage. And here's your trade setup. You're doing a long, it broke this level right here. You enter the trade, you have your stop loss underneath here. And your stop loss is whatever percent it is, 1%, 5%, 12%, 20%, whatever it is. But your leverage that you're doing, well, of course, it wouldn't have to be, it would have to be, let's just say 1%. This is a 1% stop loss right here, 1% stop loss. You're on a very small time frame, let's say a 5-minute time frame, and you're willing to risk 1% of your entire bag, which is $1. So that means on this trade, depending on where you get in, you may be trading with only, let's say, $3 or maybe $5. This is all you're trading with. Now, if you do lose, you only lose $1. If your targets hit, you're winning $3, $5, maybe $7. So that's when your risk reward comes in. You want at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And we're taking profits on the way up and moving our stop loss into profit. Now, let's say this is only one trade. Let's say we have another trade, and our other trade, now, since we're willing to lose $1, now our available balance for our next trade, this is one trade right here. So now let's say on this next trade, now we only have $99. Now, granted, we're not trading with the whole $100, but we're willing to risk 1% of our balance, which is $100. Now, because we're in this trade, we only have $99 to trade with. So this means our risk is 99 cents. So let's go ahead and put in R for risk. And let's say on this next trade, we do a 3x leverage. And same kind of scenario, you know, we're going long. It does this number and it's breaking out of this level. We enter the trade. We have our stop loss underneath support. And for this trade, we're willing to risk 1%. And on this trade, for example, let's say now, so what you're doing is as you're moving the slider over for your margin, you have your stop loss in place. That's the first step. Then you get your margin and you move it over. And what you're doing is you're looking at your stop loss getting hit and how much you're willing to lose. And on this particular trade, we're willing to lose 99 cents. Again, not sexy if you're trading with $100. If you're trading with 1,000, well, then just put another digit over. But for this example, let's say we're trading with $100. Now, what you're doing is you're moving the slider bar over on the margin. Now that you have your stop loss in the field, you're moving your margin over and you're seeing your stop loss amount that you're willing to lose. Let's say I tried it at a 20x and I move my stop loss. It's not showing anything, I'm sorry, I have my stop loss in place. I'm moving my margin over and it's not showing anything as far as the amount I can lose because the trade cannot get entered. Then as soon as I move it over a little bit over, it says I can lose $4 because I'm using a 20x leverage. Well, that's way too much. So that's telling me that I can't trade 20x leverage because the very first entry I can do on 20x is going to risk me $4. I can only risk 99 cents. So then I reduce my leverage to, let's say, 12x. And now the very first slot that goes over that shows up something on the stop loss amount is, let's say it's now $1.89. Still too much. So now I reduce my leverage again, let's say 3x, and I move it over in the very first spot. It says I can lose 99 cents. Perfect. This is telling me I can only trade with 3x leverage in order to risk only 99 cents based off of this setup, which would be 1% of my entry. So the key to this, you must set your stop loss in the field, then your leverage amount, and then you move over the slider bar for your margin. If the margin that you're able to put in is too high for your risk to reward ratio, then reduce the amount of leverage so that the amount you're risking is only 1%. Again, not sexy. Now this trade, we're doing a 3x, so we can put more money in. Let's just say, for example, this is all hypothetical. Let's say on this trade, we were able to trade with $9. So now in our available balance, we only have $90 in our account because we have $1 in this trade. Let's say this trade only allowed us to trade with $1, and this trade allowed us to trade with $9. So the available balance we have in our account is only $90. Now I'm going to do this. So normally the risk would only be 90 cents. This is how much our risk could be. However, let's say our other two trades are doing really nice and we have our stop loss in profit. Our stop loss is in profit on this one. Our stop loss is in profit in this one. So now if we were to lose this, we're in profit. If we were to lose this one, we're in profit. So how much can I risk on this trade? I can risk back to $1. Let's just say if the stop loss hits and with the amount of money we have in here, for whatever reason, just to make the math simple, let's say it would put us back at 100. So instead of having our available balance of 90, because these are in profit now, our available balance is back to $100. So the risk I can do for this very next trade is $1. So this is how I manage my risk. This is how I trade leverage. The leverage amount does not matter. It is the amount you're willing to lose, which in my case, which is very boring, 1%. And then once I move it into profit, well, then now my balance resets, because if I were to lose, I go back to 100 minimum, not including the amount that I have into the margin, not including if I get stopped out, nothing like that, but minimum I have $100. So now I can trade with $1 as my risk. And then same scenario, same setup, depending on where my stop loss is at. And then the amount of leverage depends on how much I'm willing to lose. In this case, it is $1 that I'll be willing to lose. So $1 right here. And this is the available amount. If it all made sense, put a 1 in the chat. I absolutely love these questions. Danny, you absolutely killed it on this question. And this is what I want, guys. I want questions. 1, it shows that I know what I'm doing. And 2, it shows that if there's any traders out there who are kind of don't even know to ask these questions, now they have this very, in my opinion, detailed answer. So put a 1 in the chat if all this made sense. If it didn't, put a 0, and also what part didn't make sense. So let me know that. Let me know that. Greatly appreciate you guys for being here. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for smashing the like. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you who watches my videos, who's smashing the likes on all the videos, who's leaving comments on all the videos. That really does encourage me to make more videos. You know, it's like, oh man, I got 8 comments today. Awesome. 7 of them scammers. We love reading this stuff. We really do. All right.